and stuff, but
then you got lazy.
I got lazy. It was too cold. I didn't want it. But spent about 4 days on the phone. Got the truck in the shop, and found out it's not the emissions that's wrong with the truck. The turbo actually went out in it, and that's why I put it in reduced power mode. And I think the emissions warning on the dash was just like a secondary thing. There ain't nothing wrong with the emissions that they can find. There's no codes. It's not reading anything out of the normal. And I spent 4 days on the phone. The mechanic, he spent a lot of time on the phone. Spent a lot of time on the internet just trying to find a turbo. So what we can figure out is on the L5Ps from 17 to 19, they're the same turbo, and then in 2020 they changed it. The only thing that we can kind of figure out is there's got to be something different with the actuator. It means it went to a 10-speed transmission. So true, false, I don't know, but that's just kind of what we came up with. Nobody really gave us any answers on what's different about it. But I found a couple junkyard turbos, but they look like they went through a salt bath.
They were definitely junkyard material.
Yeah, which, you know, not being that old, it just blew my mind how bad they. I mean, they had the white corrosion on the aluminum housing. There was white corrosion on the blades. Which I'm assuming the blades are probably stainless steel, so they should be all right. Turbos, just from the pictures I got of them, they didn't look good, and they weren't even that cheap. And there's no guarantees on them, no 30-day warranty. Anything. Like if you buy it and it'd be junk, they wouldn't accept it as a return. So I kind of opted out of the junkyard one, and we ended up forking out a lot of money, and I ended up getting a what was it called? Stealth. The 67 G2 is what I ended up ordering. So I'm hoping that one works all right, but it's a lot bigger turbo than what I was looking to get. I don't want to get that far over stock and start tearing transmission rear end and stuff like that out of it. So I don't know. With it being deleted and then the big turbo now, they're telling me I could be making a lot more horsepower, a lot more torque, which is great, but not for longevity. But we also spent a lot of time doing taxes, so we got taxes all done. We're just waiting on 1099s to come in. One more W-2 come in.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty exciting week.
Every year we say, you know, this is really hard. We're going to start doing this quarterly. Have we yet to do it quarterly? No. Everything goes in a box. All of our receipts, all of our invoices, all of our everything gets thrown in a box. And then come October, we get the box out. We stare at the box for a couple days. Box gets put back away, and then finally, you know, when it's crunch time, we get the box out and we spend all night long, 4 nights a week, going through taxes, and it's going to happen again next year, but right now I'm telling myself that it won't.
In the summertime, it's not that easy because we are literally, when rental season's going, it's go, 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 7 days a week.
It's a lot of go outside by 7 o'clock in the morning to try and start cleaning campers when it's somewhat decent out. And if you're lucky, you'll be back in the house at 11 o'clock that night from cleaning out last campers, doing deliveries.
Campers in, campers out, fixing stuff quick.
It's a lot of work, but, you know.
We keep glutting for the punishment, though, because we keep buying more of them.
Business isn't easy, so
be your own boss, they said. It's easy, they said. More free time.
There's no free time, but you know what? Hopefully in the end it pays off. We'll see.
But today, we're going to go deliver this one. We're going to go talk to the bank. We got to start working on loans for our new campers. These new prices, we mentioned that before, the camper prices have skyrocketed so bad it's not even funny. So we're going to sit down at the bank, see where we're going to be at. I know we can qualify for what we want to do, but helped camping out a lot, obviously, but you just never know what it's going to do year to year. So we're not sure how far we want to push the subject, how much of a risk we want to take, all that fun stuff. All the adulting decisions.
Yep. We're kind of more of the wing it people and see what happens, which isn't really the right thing when you own a business, but it's working out for us so far. So
I think everybody wings it, they just pretend like they know what they're doing.
yeah, I mean, if something starts to go down the crapper, then I guess we ditch a camper. Until then, we wing it and hope for the best.
That's all you can do.
Yeah. We're pretty simple people. So we saw a couple accidents yesterday on our way to Indiana, so
How was the storms for, so that been Friday night?
yeah,
No, Saturday night.
couple semis
Saturday night, they had all
Saturday.
the rain and ice.
So I was playing camera girl on those, so we'll let you guys see them. But you know, I'm iffy when it comes to my photo taking skills. The first time I went to Indiana with him, I thought the horse and buggy were the coolest things in the world. And you know, like I said, simple girl. And it took me what, 4 times? 4 tries. Okay, 3. That's all the higher I'm going.
It was like 10.
5. It took me 5 tries to try and get a picture of a horse and a buggy. You know, I didn't want to make it like super obvious, like, hey, you know, I'm taking a picture of you. So I tried like hiding my camera, and finally, you know, every time that it was blurry or didn't work, you know, I'm like, oh, you know, getting frustrated, and finally he pulls his camera off the dash, sets it up there, we go by, he clicks one time, perfect picture. Perfect. So
If you want something done right, sometimes you just gotta do it yourself.
So that being said, you know, if you can make out the semi and the cars as they're in the video, bravo to you.
I did have a situation like that a while ago. About a month ago, I was trying to get a picture. I think it was a semi-accident or something. And I wasn't by the accident. I was probably like 5 miles away. And there was a huge mushroom cloud of smoke. So I was trying to send a picture of it to show her. And it took me about 10 tries. Every time I would take a picture, a billboard would go by, a tree would go by, or a semi would go by. I was just like, oh, come on.
At least he had the excuse he was driving. I know such luck, but, you know, it's my story. So it took me 3 tries. That's what I'm going with again.
Alright, but we're going to get this dropped off. We're going to go to the bank, do all the fun stuff. And then maybe we'll go over taxes or something like that when we get back home. You have a couple of different ways of doing taxes, so maybe for the people that are kind of new to RV transporting, we'll kind of go over the 2 different options you can kind of go, 2 different routes you can kind of go, and we'll talk about how we do it. And then I can also go over. I think I got about 4 months of single poles this year. About 3 months of multi-haul. So we can kind of go over some of that stuff too. A little comparison, what you can make, but also way more expenses you have too with multi-haul. Maybe we'll go over some of that stuff with you guys when we get home. We are in our office. Not really.
We're sitting at our kitchen table.
So yeah, we talked a little bit after we dropped or on our way to drop that camper off. We've been going over our taxes and all that stuff. So we're not gonna do taxes on this one. I'll just kind of go over like rates for you guys that are kind of interested. So this is the last quarter of 2021. So there was a week Thanksgiving. I didn't take any cars that week, and I don't think I did on Christmas either, right? Yeah,
You didn't run Thanksgiving week at all. You ran Christmas week, but not Thanksgiving.
Oh, we went out and picked up. Yeah, we picked up our own campers on Thanksgiving. So yeah, there's probably 2.5 to 3 weeks in here, and these 3 months where I didn't do any cars or do a run at all. So for the cars, for the backhauls, I did $13,205, and I didn't go into my logs and figure out like what I averaged per mile, because you know you got some times where you got 1 car, 2 cars, 3 cars. So this is just an overall average per car. So I averaged $1.32 per mile per car. But like we talked about before in previous videos, we're kind of really selective on what we take. We're not going to take that 30 cents a mile stuff. Courtney spends a lot of time.
We won't even take 50 cents a mile. It's just not worth it.
I think my lowest paying car that I had was 58 cents a mile, and I think that was a load that I booked for a guy kind of more or less as a favor in a sense. But anyway, we averaged $1.32 a loaded mile per car. For campers, we did $29,672.96, 11,569 miles, with an average rate of $2.57 a mile. That's a loaded mile. Total miles I did in the third quarter was 31,460 miles. That's let's see, that was, yeah, so that's my total miles. That's my deadhead, everything. So my grand total between the cars and the campers for the fourth quarter was $42,877.96. So I had a lot of deadheading. Talked about that Oregon run I did where I pretty much deadheaded all the way back to Sioux Falls. Because I had a couple I was supposed to pick up in Sturgis and those fell through. So yeah, I think I deadheaded all the way back to Sioux Falls.
Denver, we came all the way back to Des Moines.
No, that was the one we picked up in Lincoln. So we deadheaded from Denver to Lincoln. That's where we picked up that motorhome that paid really well.
Yep.
And the majority of the Texas runs I deadhead pretty much from the Dallas area, usually to Kansas. I'll deadhead up to before I pick up anything.
There's usually a lot coming out of Wichita.
Yep. So I had, out of, let's see, so I did 31,460 total miles. 21,328 were loaded miles. So my loaded miles, cars, campers, everything, as long as there was something on the trailer, I averaged $2.01 per mile. So when I add in all my deadheading, I averaged $1.36 per mile. That's all miles put on the truck in the fourth quarter. So if you want to break that down to like weekly, for what I made, I did $3,565.92 per week. So you take that times 52 weeks, that's $185,000 a year. That's gross. We're not talking net. This is all gross. So like I said, there was 3 weeks in there where I didn't really run. So yeah, these numbers could be way better if you wanted them to be. And like I said, yeah, you can take those. Like when I was in Oregon, there was I could have got 3 cars out of Oregon going to Chicago, and it paid $900. Well, I ended up running back to Sioux Falls empty, and I picked up, I don't remember exactly how that load went. I know I picked up 1 in Sioux Falls, and I think maybe 2 in Omaha or something like that. And I ended up making more money doing that than I did if I would have just grabbed them 3 in Oregon. So there's I know there's another guy on YouTube. He talks about how he will not haul cars. He literally takes his campers out, deadheads straight back. He goes and gets more campers. He goes off, he deadheads back every time. And realistically, I've seen, he's kind of talked about his numbers a little bit. He's a little, on all miles driven, I think he was around $1.20, $1.25 a mile. So I'm doing about 10 to 15 cents more per mile
but I'm sure he's, he makes it back to Indiana a lot quicker. So he's got a lot less headache to deal with. He's putting on way more miles just because, he's heading straight back. He's not spending a day and a half, messing with cars versus, like a 1 day drive straight back. So, I don't know. It's kind of a toss-up. It's more or less personal preference, I think, but there is a little bit more money from what I can tell. There's a little bit more money in hauling cars. You're going to put less miles on for the same amount of money. But it all depends on how you want to look at it.
And cars are a headache.
They are a headache.
I mean, some of them go really smooth, but
I'd say 25% of them go really smooth.
and that seems to make up for the 75% that doesn't.
Well, I was going to say, I'd say 25% go smooth, 25% are kind of...
You never know what you're getting yourself into with cars, where with campers,
It's pretty well straightforward.
they're going to be sitting where they say they're sitting, you're going to load them up and you're going to go,
For the most part.
But,
Might have a flat tire, something like
Right.
that, sitting in the yard. But,
but,
yeah, it's... campers, you call your dispatcher, you get your paperwork, you go pick them up, you leave. With cars, you got to call the broker, you got to wait for them to send the paperwork to your dispatcher's got to send them to you, and then once you get the paperwork, then you find out where the car's actually getting picked up from and delivered to. We booked one a while back that was a drop-off in Omaha, according to Central Dispatch, and when we talked to the broker. And then once we got the paperwork, I don't remember the name of the town, but it was almost over by Des Moines.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
the contract was already signed. There was nothing I could do about it. And
It would have worked out better if he was heading straight back to Indiana, but
I was on my way
he was
home,
on his
so
way home.
so it was around 100 miles farther than what it was supposed to be. And then, which is out of my way, so technically, it added 200 miles to my run. So once I added that 200 miles, that didn't pay crap.
And it is, from what I found doing the booking, that is quite common. There's a lot of times that I'll call dispatchers and they'll be like, it says on Central that it goes one place and they'll be like, okay, well, the car actually is located here, or it actually gets dropped off here, and then I just get on Google Maps right away and figure out where it is from there to there and negotiate from there, or if it's better on his route anyway. But most dispatchers tell you that the car's not actually there. This guy, we think, just had a really hard time getting the car where he wanted it, which is why he did not tell us,
That's why he
because
was
he
kinda
had
lying
made
about
the
it.
comment to me that I was the third person to pick this load up and the other two canceled. So we think that's why. But
we had...
stop it. Get down. Get down. Stop it.
Yeah, we were looking at, we had 3 or 4 of them we were looking at, and it showed drop-offs for like Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And when you start reading the notes, I think 1 or 2 of them had it in the notes, that actual drop-off location was Bismarck, North Dakota. That's quite a ways away. So I don't know if they're advertising stuff in different areas, trying to get people to look at stuff, but that's stuff you got to pay attention to too.
Mm-hmm.
But we thought we'd just go over our numbers. I'm sure there's people that do way better. I'm sure there's people that do worse, but
He doesn't run super hard.
no,
That was one of the deals when he first started doing this, We have 2 kids. They're not little, well, 4 including these 2. But, our boys aren't little, but no amount of money is worth never seeing your family, so
well, we got
he has
kids
to
in
be
sports.
home. Yep.
And just let them be around once in a while. So I usually try and take off Monday or Tuesday and then be home by Friday, so I'm at least home every weekend.
You saying hi?
And then in the summertime, we're pretty much around all summer.
Yep.
Kids are helping us with our rental campers. So
When he says that, he means our oldest helps deliver. As for cleaning or anything else, no, they don't help.
they're gonna have to start helping this year. We just got done talking to the bank and talking to the dealer when we dropped that camper off, like we said, and getting everything kind of finalized for the year. So kind of getting everything penciled in and finalized, I guess. So
Been getting quite a few calls lately, so
yep, rentals are coming in, reservations are coming in, so the phone's been going pretty crazy already.
yeah.
So it'll be another busy year, especially us adding 4 more campers, possibly 5 more campers than what we had last year. So it'll be another crazy summer, and that's coming around the corner. It's kind of crazy to think. Well, today is awesome. It's 50. Did I say 56?
No, it said
46.
46 when we
46.
got home, but that was 2 hours ago. But still,
It's 46 degrees now, January, Northwest Iowa. That's kind of not really heard of, but the last 10 days have been bitter cold. And when it is like in the teens, we got a 40-mile-an-hour wind. So Indiana's been getting a lot of ice. Illinois, eastern Iowa. There you are.
oopsie.
But, yeah, we've been really dry all summer, all winter, and everybody east of us has
Yep.
been getting a lot of either rain or ice, snow, and we got cracks in the ground that I can stick my hand in.
Oh yeah, it's bad. We were out burning yesterday, and we walked up by the side of the house, and I couldn't believe how cracked it was.
It's pretty dry. We could use some moisture here, but
I'm gonna start filling up my ice cream buckets, going and water in my yard.
just fun with that.
I'm just kidding.
That's 8 acres. But yeah, so we just wanted to go over some numbers, and we'll maybe in the next video or something we'll talk about a couple ways you guys can do taxes for some of the newer guys that aren't really sure how things work. You have kind of basically 2 options. You can itemize or do per mile, but I think
Taxes
we'll
really aren't that hard.
no, it's really
It's
straightforward,
really
simple.
easy. A lot of people say, "Oh, hire an accountant." My personal opinion is don't. It's really easy to do your own taxes, save the money.
Yeah. But we'll talk about that all in another video. But for now, we just kind of wanted to go over rates on multi-haul for guys that are thinking about making the switch over to multi-haul. Like I said, these aren't like the best numbers. It was the 4th quarter, so there's a lot of holidays and stuff like that we had to work around.
Kids of sports, it's
So.
that time of year, so
So yeah, that's just kind of what my numbers were, and that kind of gives you an idea. You know, some guys don't want to run this full time, some kind of want to do, you know, a little more than part time, a little less than full time. So my 70-hour clock, I'd say typically, I run about 60, 65 hours. I think only once I've ran my 70-hour clock out. So yeah, I'm not burning a full 70 hours every week, but pretty close. But hopefully that gives you guys some idea. If you have any questions, leave comments below, and we'll try and answer them in the comments, or we'll talk about it in another video. So we'll see you later.
she'd wait this time.